What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and this is the Floowandereeze deck profile featuring this broken quick play spell card, Floowandereeze, and the journey preparations. We're going to get into the details as soon as I ask you guys to like and subscribe. And now let's jump right into this deck profile. So the first card that I want to explain is the new quick play spell card that changed absolutely everything. This is coming out in the next set, so I think it's going to be January or February, I forgot. But whatever, this card reads, banish one winged beast monster from your hand or face up field, very important, this is a cost. Add one Floowandereeze monster or the Floowandereeze field spell from your deck to your hand, then gain 500 life points and time has been called. You can only activate this card once per turn. Very, very huge. If you haven't watched my combo video, make sure you do, because it's uploaded very recently in my channel. Again, unless you're watching this freaking 20 billion years late. But yeah, this deck just doesn't really lose to hand traps at all anymore. As long as you have access to the field spell or the trap or this card, one hand trap just does nothing. And ironically, the Dimension Shifter can actually help you play through hand traps, because the card says if you have no cards in your graveyard, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the grave until the end of the next turn. Any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. And when you read a card like Effect Veiler, it doesn't say discard like Ash, so it has to specifically go from the hand to the graveyard. So under D Shifter, you can't Veiler your opponent. You can only Impermanent Ash and Bell, whatever, but you also can't really go into DD Crow and Jewel and Logbird, but that's not super relevant anyways. But whatever, now for the rest of the deck profile. So I'm playing 2 Empen. I'm not a big fan of Snull. I think only Empen is worth playing as the Floowandereeze Tribute Summon. Ryza is a really good one, because you can loop it again and again and again, but the Apex Avian is also pretty respectable. It's a searchable card as well, so if you want to play in Omni Negate, you can do that for sure. And then the Windbear statue is just like a really high ceiling card on game 1, but if you're going second, you can easily side it out. Whereas these cards are pretty good in the main deck. By the way, there's also another way you can play this deck, kind of like with a Monarch Stormforth, which is I'm actually going to put in the idea section right now. But basically, you can tribute over your opponent's cards with 2 cards. So the Monarch Stormforth, and I forgot the name of the other card, but it's a quick continuous spell card. Floowandereeze and the Unknown Wind, so you can conduct a tribute summon that requires 2 tributes by sending one monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard. Instead of tributing, it's still treated as a tribute summon, so of course if you can tribute summon during your opponent's turn using their own monsters, it's kind of disgusting. And it also has like a mulligan effect where you can reveal up to 2 winged beasts from your hand, return them in the bottom of the deck in any order, and then draw an equal amount of cards. But that's like less relevant, and it also clashes with Prosperity. So if you draw Prosperity off of the Unknown Winds, kind of sucks a little bit, but yeah. So whatever, if you want to play like a more tribute summon heavy build, you can definitely play these cards, but I don't know. I think for now, I kind of am okay with this build, but whatever, we're always up to changing anything. But yeah, for the hand traps, 3 Shifter, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 1 DD Crow, so 10 out of 40. 1 card out of 4 is a hand trap. And a bunch of Floowandereeze monsters, because you really want to draw always at least 1 or 2 in order to kind of get that field spell or quick play spell card going. Otherwise, you really can't play the game. But basically, any Floowandereeze monster with a field spell is combo, or Robina alone, or again, the quick play spell card with any Floowandereeze. So for the most part, the game, this deck combos with 2 cards, unless of course, again, you are very skillful at Yugimons. And now for the spell card, this deck plays a lot of very powerful spell cards, so Terraforming, Necro Valley with set rotation, so you have even more copies of the field spell, and this is also a way to out Mystic Mine. So you kind of just play, you place a field spell on top of the Mystic Mine, and if you don't activate your own field spell, your opponent can never activate another field spell on top of the field spell that he just flipped. So yeah. And then Prosperity, it's very debatable if you want to play Extravagance or Prosperity, but Prosperity for 6 basically guarantees 100% you're going to dig into that Robina. So if you want pure consistency, go for Prosperity. If you want kind of power, go for Extravagance. And now Duality, again another consistency card. I really don't see why you wouldn't play 3 Duality, because the no special summoning clause really doesn't do anything at all. The Floowandereeze monsters lock you under no special summon anyways, so this is just absolutely free, and this card has always been good. Like, the effect of the card is good, the only annoying thing about it is the no special summon, but in a deck that literally doesn't special summon, it's all good in the hood. I want to say Subterror is probably affected more by duality than this deck, because at least Subterror could play Red Ice Fusion, or it could special summon with the effect of Fiendus, but this deck, even if you tried to, you couldn't. And yeah, 3 of the quick play spell card, 3 Mysterious Map, the really insane field spell, and 1 City of Dreams. Again, you could also be playing the Counter Trap card. For the extra deck, the majority of the cards are just not played at all. I don't even know why I have Titanic Lad. Skull Knight, if your opponent goes invoked, no, not invoked, Dragma Maximus, with the Elder Entity Entis and Wind Pegasus Ignister. Now, these cards, as hilarious as this may sound, you technically could XC summon them in like a very, very sketch game state if you already had like leftover Floowandereeze on your opponent's turn, and on your own turn you don't want to use the effect of any Floowandereeze. You could technically go into a Zeus, but I mean, come on. Are you really going to be using these cards very often, or any of the cards in your extra deck? Absolutely not. You could be playing 0 cards in your extra deck and be playing freaking Monarch's Erupt. When actually, no, don't play Monarch's Erupt. It negates your own monsters. But you could be playing Domain of the Monarchs, which I definitely don't recommend because it will overlap with the Mysterious Map. So yeah, I mean, at this point, you could be playing freaking your favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! In your extra deck and nobody would care. But that's pretty much it for these cards. And now for the idea section, I already kind of explained the Unknown Wind and the Stormforth. You could also play Dark Simorgh, which is a card that prevents players from setting cards. Very scary, and you can search that as well. So against trap decks when you're going first, this card is basically game over. And yeah, Extravagance, if you want to play that over Prosperity, I already kind of explained that. Call by the Grave conflicts with D-Shifter because the cards go into the Banished. Same thing with Macrocosmos and D-Shifter. Sorry, D-Fisher. So that's why I would kind of not play that card. You could be playing Tactic Talents. That makes sense. Quiet Life is also pretty good since you're not special summoning any monsters. You are not affected by your own Quiet Life, but your opponent is affected. So that's actually kind of huge. Speaking of cards that actually kind of are huge, but unfortunately in the other way around, cards that screw you over would be these 2 cards right there, and Zombie World and Mask of Restrict. So Zombie World can be played in any deck that can abuse Beatrice. So Virtual World and Drytron. If they Foolish for the Necro World Banshee, you can now Tribute Summon. So regardless of how you slice it, these cards will kind of demolish you, so that's why having kind of counters to these cards is important, but your engine can't really do it too well. There's technically a way you can, but it's gonna take way too many, it's gonna take years. Like, you're actually gonna have to XC summon for once. But yeah, I don't know, I have Mausoleum of the Emperor LMAO, and Lose One Turn is also a pretty good Floodgate that doesn't screw you over at all. You can only control it, you can only activate it when you control no special summon monsters, aka always, and the turn special summon monsters are summoned, they go to defense and they can't use their effects. The only reason why I wouldn't be main decking this card, or even side decking probably, is because Link monsters will not go into defense, so it kind of sucks, but at the same time, their effects are still negated. Even Link monsters, it doesn't have to go into defense to get negated. It's not like Baguska. And I also don't know why I'm playing an anti-spell in the idea section, but again, it's not a side deck, it's an idea section, so if you want me, guys, to break this deck with a side deck, whatever, let me know if you want me to kind of make a live stream on that, and I definitely could be doing that. But that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also let me know if you want me to make a live stream on Floowandereeze. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.